Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and whenever you may watch this replay. My name is Sherry with Ratchet Up Your Art. And today we're going to talk about 3D texture folders. I was very inspired and very excited to see the big 3D texture folders that Tim Holtz just put out yesterday. Maybe they've been out a little bit, um, so people get early access, if you will. But I was really inspired by those. And I really like, because I work with larger gel plates, I really like bigger items that I can work with. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take some 3D textured fades folders and we are going to jelly print with them. So it should be interesting, um, and see how that turns out. However, we're also going to look at some of the older 3D embossing folders. So if you have some embossing folders that you may be laying around that you don't use as much, we're going to be using those as well. I do have a drawer full of embossing folders and I don't use them as often as I would like, but I think I found a new way of using them. So, um, it's not a new idea. Maybe it just hasn't been seen very much, right? So on social media. So I am going to dive into that world of 3D texture folders or fades, whatever they want to call them, and regular embossing folders, and how we can apply that to the gel plate. But before we do, today is the last day to get your hands on the Conclave art collection, the postcards, and I have a couple birds left over. Um, for this collection. So today's the last day. At midnight today, the doors will be closed for the conclave. The postcards, um, I still have quite a few left of those. But the birds, once they're gone, they're gone. So definitely you want to make sure you go check out my website for that. And again, for every purchase, oh, I don't have things ready. For every purchase that you make, um, for an original, you'll get the postcards for free. And so go ahead and check those out on the website. And if you can't afford an original, that's okay, because the postcards you definitely can. I mean, they're definitely out there for you if you can. That's what I meant to say. Also, the back of the postcards has the story behind each one of the cardinals. So definitely go check that out before they are gone, so that you can get your hands on one of the originals, or you can get some postcards. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's get these little so this morning, and I thought I had them, but so just one second with me. These are the texture fades we're going to use, but you can't kind of see them, so hold on. So I pulled out this texture fade here. Oh, the light, love the light. This texture fade here. I pulled this one out, as well as the numbers of the texture fades, and then the typewriter keys, which I don't have on me, but the typewriter keys here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this in half because I want to use each one individually, and then we'll talk about, like, I have some old Cuddlebug ones that we're gonna mess with today as well. So we'll talk about those when we get there. So let me get these out of the way. And I just want to cut these things real quick. I don't want it. Yep. That's about. Also, too, when you're jelly printing with, so what I did was, is I took the embossing folders and I put them through my switch. Um, we're going to with when I do the older embossing folders or text embossing folders, I am I can't talk. Hold on. With these, could we jelly print with those? Yeah. But do I want to dig out that paint? Probably not. And since this live is 30 minutes, that paint will dry on the plate. But if you were going to do this embossing, like straight embossing folder jelly print, go for it. Um, I would have a pan of water to the side so that you can just dunk this into that pan of water so that the paint doesn't get on into all the crevices. Um, so Tim Holtz is very much known for his grunge, and there's a lot of crevices. Um, Not sure I don't have a thing of water, so we're not going to do that today. But I would do it, to be quite honest. I would, because paint's not going to hurt anything. It's plastic on plastic. And so what I did was is I went ahead and I got these uh I went ahead and did texture fades onto cardstock. This is really heavy cardstock. Um and just to see what the impression would look like, but also you could use these as backgrounds. So you could take some texture fades, run them through your machine, and then jelly print with them, and then see what happens. You're going to be it's still going to be embossed. It'll be interesting to see both sides. So we may do both sides on one of these. Probably the numbers. It looks like it'd be the easiest, but your numbers would be backwards. But then if you were to pull up your print, would your numbers be backwards? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I tell you what, when you emboss on the front, your numbers we'll have to find out. One of these ways, your numbers are going to be backwards, but we'll play with that and find out. So, and then with these older ones, these Cuttlebug ones, I'm definitely going to go straight onto the plate. Looks like I've done it before because it seems like I might have some paint on here. So, um, we'll see what that looks like. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and the other thing I was thinking about also, which maybe we'll try, is sorry, still getting over my cold. Um, is using oh Sherry, what is the word? Is using the blah blah can't talk distress oxides onto your gel plate, and then what happens when you use one of the embossing folders. So maybe this live will go a little longer as we experiment today. What's that here? Oh, that wasn't here. Sorry. All right. Let's do this one. Oh, let's do this one on here. And let me fix that light because it's blinding. It's not there. Okay, so you can kind of see that. Bring this up a little bit so you can see that. And then we're just going to go ahead and press this in. This would be perfect for the 5x7 gel plate. Like if you have a 5x7 gel plate, this would be perfect for that. Oh, look at that, guys. That is amazing. This, my friends, is going to be fun. Oh, love it. Oh yeah, this is turning out really nice. Um, except for my stuff is in the way. Oh. I'm loving this. Okay. So I didn't get that edge too well because of the stuff's in the way, but check that out. That would be really nice to go back maybe with some distress oxides once it's dry, like a red or another color, and then do the spritz technique that he's known for. But we're gonna keep playing. So we'll see. Maybe another color like yellow or something will go on there. All right. So while this is drying, let me grab some paper. Now, the paper I'm using is from an old composition book that my child had, and it must have been a math book because there's a lot of math problems. And of course, he was obviously younger because he scribbled all over the paper and he just wasn't having it. He just wasn't doing the math. He's really good at math, but he hates it. And one of his talents is math, but he hates it. He's just not challenged, I guess, enough. But I don't know. I think he'll find it. But anyway, long story short, um, the thing about using pencil on paper is that it transfers. So, um, I wanted to see how this one's a good one. Sorry, we're still letting that thing dry. I want to get one more. I'm gonna have to call up my friends in junk journal world and figure out how to take this apart and just I know there's a new tool out on the market that I think we memory keepers creates that will just chop this right off. I might have to get that tool. But we'll see. All right. The thing about the paper, the pencil will transfer onto the plate. Um so if you have, and I think I've said this in one of my other videos, if you have old composition notebooks from your kids, you can use it as braille roll off sheets, which is what I've done here. But also, I'm just looking for one here. Um, you can use it for jelly printing. So all those school papers that you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many school papers. And right now, school is done for the summer in some places or fixing to be. Grab those papers, guys. Like you can reuse those in jelly printing. All right, let's go ahead. I think this is going to be so cool. Yeah. All right. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, this is gonna look nice. And that right there is the reason why I want to buy the big ones. The big 3D texture fades because I can use it in jelly printing. That is another texture tool, right? So check that out. Check out that background. It's okay if you got scribble on it and lines running through it. That makes it more interesting. You can cut this up. We could use this in our collages. We can use this in our collages. We can use this for card fronts. We can use this on scrapbooking. We can use this in junk journaling. Like this right here, my friends, is amazing. Check that out. Love it. All right. So there's many, many uses. So let's try another one now. I'm just messing with two colors. So let me get some more. You know what would be interesting as well? It's fabric, and I just happen to have some right here. So let's try the fabric. Now, I hate to use my big sheets of fabric, but all right. Let's definitely try the fabric. That I think would be cool. Oh, before I do, let me have my texture fade. Like I got all the things all over my desk right now. Well, maybe not those. No, we'll try them. Okay. Now I'm just using this fabric um, paint that we used. I haven't tested it yet. I got to do that today. Um, as far as like how it washes. But let's see how this. Now my letters are going to be backwards, and that's okay. Now, if it doesn't work with this fabric paint, doesn't mean it won't work with other fabric paints. It just means it won't work with this one. Okay, well, that one was just kind of messy there, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to brayer this off while we're kind of waiting for that to dry just a little bit. It won't dry all the way, so I'll just forewarn you there. Now, while we're kind of waiting a little bit, and I like how it's kind of breaking up just a little bit, so we're going to lose some of the image here as we continue to wait, which makes it a really nice grungy print. But we can read these letters, but when you turn them face down, the letters are backwards. But when you pull it back up, it will be um, the right way. So you'll be able to read it. So let's go ahead and get some paint on here before we lose our letters. Hopefully, we won't blend it too much. Yeah, this might not go well. Might be one giant mess because of the type of paint we have. So we'll see what happens. Oh, Sherry, you put too much paint on the plate. Well, that was my inner well. They're like, just go with it. That's all you can do. All right. Oh, all right. Let's see. Yeah, I put way too much paint on the plate, but that's okay. The fact that it'll be, it should have good coverage. Let's just put it that way. Now, if you don't want all that green on your hands like I just did, you can always take paper and do it this way. But the paint will come through onto your fabric. So just be forewarned there. And I'm just going to rear this off. It's picking up some of the red from from when we were doing the acrylic. So, all right, let's see how this works. Okay. Wasn't the best, but you definitely have some print there. See that? So that definitely works. Hold on, it's backwards. There you go. So now you can read it the right way. Like the subtleness of it. You also have a ghost print. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add, I would like a lighter color. Maybe we can pick up that ghost print. Okay. Yellow would be perfect for this, but I don't have a yellow in this fabric paint. I have this gray. So it's not the best color combination, but we're going to go with it. Has this even been opened? Yes, it has. Okay. All right. The reason why I wanted a lighter color is because of the green and the blue, but this may be too dark. So we'll see if we just get a gray piece of fabric or what. But before we do that, let's just go in again with the texture fade and see if we can get another print. I know, I just changed gears. Okay, so this texture fade is not printing very well. Wonder if it's because it's got a, interesting. Maybe this particular texture fade, maybe it's a one shot. It'll be interesting to try to print on the other side, even though everything would be backwards. But I'm not going to do that with the fabric paint. I'm going to do that when we do the acrylic. Okay. That's an interesting little situation there. Now, remember what I've always said. Whatever you put down on the plate first is is what you're going to see. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to take another piece of cloth. We're just going to lay this down. just working off the brayer here. All right, let's see what we got, because we were going for a ghost print, but okay. So that's what we got there. We got some of the green from before. You could kind of see some of the letters, but not very well. Um so that was that one. Sorry. Okay. All right, let's go ahead, and now that we played with fabric paint with the texture fades, let's go ahead and work with the numbers and go back to paint for a minute. I think I want the orange. That's plenty of paint, I'm sure. And let's go with one. I want to try the number texture fade because I can control that situation just a little bit than with the fabric paint. Okay. Now, again, when we put these numbers down, they're going to be reversed. But when we pull them back up um, with the paper, it will be right side. Yes, love it. Love it. So, let's see what my purchase is going to be today. It's going to be those giant texture fades, all four of them, or five, however many there was. Okay. So we're also picking up some fabric paint, and that's totally fine. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry for a minute. Now, I was wanting to go back with this blue, but I feel like it's gonna be too. I think it'll work fine if we let this dry just a little bit longer. My concern was it might be overpowering, so we'll see. All right, let's go with this blue and see what happens. We're dry enough. I don't know how well we're gonna do, but we'll just play again. Oh, come on. Now, this is one of my favorite paints. It's a metallic paint. And it is Artist Loft metallic paint, and I just really like it. Um, all right, here we go. Yeah, so it's an Artist Loft. It's called Metallic Cobalt Blue, and I just really like it. The color itself, as well as the shine to it. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Check that out. We have an edge to edge print. It definitely, so just so you know that it makes the orange a lot darker when you utilize this paint on top. And it is definitely semi-transparent. While it doesn't say that on here. No, it says it's opaque. Okay, well then, maybe it is. But anyway, so is that particular one. Okay, we like that. So I think we're gonna go back in with the orange again. And this time, I'm going to try the reverse of it and see what that looks like with the texture fade. And then we'll get into the lesser. I don't want to say lesser. Wrong word there, Sherry. The different embossing folders that we talked about, but we're going to go straight in. They're not as deep of an embossing folder. Now, these numbers will be back. These numbers will print backwards. I am guessing. We'll know here in just a minute. But these numbers, I believe, will print backwards. Yes. It's going to print backwards. So just be prepared for that. So if you're going to do numbers and letters and you're going to do the opposite of the embossing folder, then just know that that it will do that. Now, I can tell you this. The more you use this, so if you didn't want to use your texture fades embossing folder itself, if you had two, that probably wouldn't be a problem, but you'd still have to clean it, I think, because you're going to lose. Like this one was the first really good print, and it has progressively gotten worse. And it's also the amount of paint you put on your plate. So definitely you want a thinner paint. Because as the paint builds up, you're losing those lines. So something for you to think about. Like I really like how this one was, and then it just got worse. But that's fine. We got a little bit too much paint on our plate as well. So some things to think about is your amount of paint on your plate. Just happened to see this green. Oh, this is the green. Oh, this is the green fabric paint. Well, I'm going in. Green and orange may not make a beautiful family, but it's okay. Color combination there. Green and orange might not make a beautiful color combination. But we're going in. Okay. Well, that was an interesting situation. I don't know where those blobs came from, those big giant blobs, but that's an interesting print for sure. Check that out. I don't know where those giant blobs came from, but hey. And the numbers are backwards, but that's okay. Hmm. We got our plate clean. Okay, let's go into using. Now I'm going to try to be thin with the paint, but we're going to go ahead and use this bubbles. I think that's what this is called. Oh, yeah. You know what this is? This is texture paste. That's what this is. This is texture paste. Someone mentioned texture paste in their embossing folder with their textured fades. Their texture fades. Like they took one of the nice embossing folders like this, and they put texture paste in there. Thought that was a great idea. However, the person on the live, in the comments said, yeah, I had to dig that out. So take a toothbrush. They'll come right off. It's plastic. Let's go in with some yellow here. Yeah, we'll do yellow. I'm going to go lighter with the. Okay, maybe that was not enough paint. No, that's plenty. Okay. And then let's just go in. It's hard to see it right now. Maybe I should do a different color for you. This will be an incentive to keep watching. Keep watching the replay to see how this one turned out. We're just going to go in. Okay. Some places it worked well, some places not so much. Oh, that was it. So remember, this is debossed, right? So one side really picked up really well where you could see it's almost like bubble wrap. And you can't really see it on the plate right now, but you'll see it in just a minute. And the other side is the bubbles themselves. And so they picked up a different pattern. So this will have a different pattern effect to it. Don't know if this is going to be too overpowering, but we'll find. Maybe I should have gone with white. But this is a semi-transparent paint. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe this will work. Or I'm sorry, it's a transparent paint. No, it didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Oh, maybe it did. Hold on. So I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. So you can see some of the texture right here, and then the opposite texture right there. See that? Opposite and the other side. So I can definitely see there's some nice texture right there as well. I can definitely see this using this in some definitely see this using this in jelly prints. Um Now, I don't your the impressions are not gonna be as deep as if you were to use the texture fades. Let's use the spider web and see if we can't do another color combination. Maybe a darker color and then a lighter one on top. So, see what this looks like. We're gonna go with orange this time. And I'm just keep rolling to try to get like as much paint off the plate as I can. Um, it's pretty thin. Well, it's not as thin as I would like it. Let me just rephrase. Okay. Now you can kind of see that a little bit differently. I turn down the light just a little bit, but you see the opposite from this one. So let's turn it this way. There you go. So see how it's darker here? That's because it's the opposite than the other one. Okay. So we'll just kind of let those dry and then we'll go back in with a yellow. Maybe that will work a little bit better. This is already dry on here, but all I'm going to do is take an old toothbrush and I am just going to wipe that with soap and water and it'll be just fine. I am tempted. I am tempted to try a texture fade. I'll just say that. I don't know if I have an extra one. Like, sometimes you overbuy, like, oh, I like that texture fade. And then, yeah, let me go look real quick. I'm in luck. I have two of the same. I'm going to try one. We're going to do that next. Yep. I am going to use this for the next one. Yes, we're going to do it. I think that's almost dry. Yes, we're going to do it. I'm excited. Okay, so a toothbrush is in my future for sure. All right. It's a good sign when you can see your print on the on here. So go in here with this and my paper. That maybe. Oh. All right. Let's get these edges really good here. Okay, so there's your print right there. And because I flipped it, that's why you have these corners here that look very similar because I flipped it. And that's the reverse. So definitely the the old embossing folders, they definitely work when you go straight in. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We're gonna do this one. It's a good thing I got an old toothbrush because it's going to need some help. Okay. So, colors. I think we're just going to use the yellow and orange so you can really see it. But definitely play around with different colors. So let's just jump on in. That was a little bit too much paint. You want to keep a thin amount of paint on here. So that was too much, but we'll just go in. We'll roll some of that off. There we go. All the things are sticking. All right. 3D texture fade. I just happen to have a second one, so I'm excited. We're going to go in and we're going to do the thing. We're going to do this. We're going for it. Here we go. I should have flipped it, but I didn't. Put some little bit more work over here. Yep. I put more pressure on this side. Okay, so definitely have it on here. But I think we can get that off. We'll find out. We're gonna let that dry for just a second. All right. Thin amount of paint. Let's see. I don't know if I just hopefully there's enough paint on here, or did I just ruin it? Well, if I ruined it, we'll just go back in again. And we'll do it again. All right. All right. Here we go. So maybe I didn't let it dry enough, but it still works. Yep. Let's do it again. I didn't have enough. Maybe the word dry isn't enough. Maybe I just didn't have enough um, orange. I mean, not orange, yellow. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay. Oh, and I like how you can't see it, but I like how the pencil transferred. So we're gonna have some pencil there, maybe. Right. I'm gonna do it a little differently this time. I put mostly the deboss side. I think that's the deboss side. The deboss side onto the plate because I think that's the one that will pick up easier. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let that sit there for just a minute. When your paint becomes tacky, it will pull up the paint more, which will leave a different impression. Yep. So the one that's raised, so the edges are raised versus this edge over here. Okay, that's the deboss size. The emboss, I guess the emboss side. Maybe I got it backwards. Regardless, this side here, that one prints better than this side. And you can see that here. You can see where most of it's taken up and this not so much. Okay, see, there's a better impression. See that? That's a better impression there because your paint's a little bit more tackier. And when that when it is, it pulls it up more. So that's what I think is going to be the trick to this. Your paint has to be at a point where it's a little on the tacky side, not quite dry, but dry. Okay. Now we're going to go in with some yellow and do this last pull. But I can see getting really into this. I think I want to add a little bit of this pink too. All right. Although the pink and the yellow kind of make an orange. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe I shouldn't have added that pink. We'll find out. It's like a tone. It's like a yellow on yellow tone there. So that's the embossing folder. So the trick is your paint needs to be on the little tacky side to really pull up that image. Just slightly tacky, not too tacky, but slightly tacky so it pulls that paint up. And then when you apply the second color, then you're really going to see the image. So I think that's definitely the trick. Okay, so real quick, I want to show you all the things. So the first one, amazing. This was amazing. And this was with the paper embossed um guy here. And what I've noticed as we went through this, using the paper, it does start to flatten just a little bit. The paint starts getting thicker on it. And so um the image starts to really like in here because of the paint that we did kind of fades a little bit. Now these are not in order. This was a really nice one as well. This one was hard to see, but it was with the older embossing folders, the actual older embossing folders. So it looked like this one here that I'll have to go and wash. We also, this is the second, another pull. We tried the reverse, the back side of this paper that we did. And I just noticed that paint buildup, you're going to get some print. Don't worry about that. But it's just that when the paint builds up, it's not as nice. Here is the spider web using the embossing folder itself. This is actually using the texture fade, the actual, this one right here. We actually used a 3D texture fade folder for this. Trick needs to be a little on the tacky side. And I think that's with any of them, not just with the texture fades. If you're using the paper though, I would definitely not worry about that so much. Here's another one, another print we did. And this one here. Now, we did do some fabric. So again, using the paper version of the print after we had already used it once before, it seemed to not have a great impression. This is the first, when we did one of the first fabric prints. I thought I had another one, but I'm not seeing it. But maybe we just didn't. Question mark? Not seeing it. Wow. Okay. So it was a great experiment. Loved it. I'm looking to see if we have anything else. Okay. So don't forget these guys. Ooh, wrong thing. These guys are out on my shop. Go and check it out. Postcards. If you don't want an original piece of artwork, I gotta trim that. The originals come with the the postcards come with the original. The doors close tonight for the Cardinals. So definitely you want to get in there because once those Cardinals are gone, the originals, they're gone. And this is an actual original piece of artwork. If you ever want to own a piece of artwork from an artist, granted, I'm no Vincent Van Gogh. Okay, so I'm not a famous artist. But maybe one day in my head I will be famous. Probably after I'm dead. But point being is, if you want to own an original piece of artwork from an art teacher, from an artist who's been painting professionally since the age of 12 and is into jelly printing and mixed media, and you want a little reminder of what you're going through in your busy life and the things that are said to you, you want to pick up one of these cardinals because each of these cardinals represents a personality that I've run into over my 9 to 5 career. And they are a reminder of either something good or it's a reminder of something not to be. And so, with that, you definitely want to try to get one of these originals. The doors close tonight. The postcards come with the originals. But if you if you don't want one of the originals, which is fine, there's the postcards out there, and you can also display those as a daily reminder of what you want to strive for or what you don't want to be like. And remember that little personality, because each one of these cardinals has a personality, a good personality or a bad personality, depends on your perspective. And or maybe a smart personality, like the smiley face. Maybe, while it may seem kind of shallow, is it a political game that smiley face is playing? But point being is, each of these cardinals has a story behind them. And I would be honored if you were to have an original in your home. It would make me so happy to know that someone, really wanted this original in their home to remind them of their daily struggles. And so, with that, even with the postcards, that would also be an honor for me as well. So, with that, I hope you have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. And thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art.